Welcome back to the Ivy Unleashed podcast. Today, one word to explain what it's going to be. The word is fun. We have Mel and Andrea from the FunXperience, founders of FunX. Welcome to Ivy Unleashed. And back for you, Andrea, second time, but this time, different topic.
Yes. So I'm so excited for this topic, and I'm so grateful that I get to do it with Mel this time.
Yeah.
Yes, and just to go back, Andrea was on episode 125 of Ivy Unleashed, and we loved our chat with you, and so did our listeners, and it's just really cool that you have created a new business, and Mel is Andrea's wife. We were just talking about this because we're like, oh, just getting to know him, how long you've been married, and tell the people how long you've been married.
15 lovely years.
That's amazing. Wow, 15 years. That's a long time. I'm at 13 and I feel like I've been married my whole life, you know?
Yeah. Has it been fun?
It's been fun. I did pick a fun partner and I'm proud of you too. So first of all, if you follow, so on Instagram, is it FunXperience?
Yes. It's like fun, X, and then experience. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because people are going to want to follow you because Brooke and I were like giggling before this, just going through your content. And as much as like, we're going to get into what your business is and what you do, I think it's so important to just follow people that are having fun.
Mm-hmm.
The whole point of social media, I think, is like, for me, it's like, you want to be entertained and have some fun. And, you know, you want tips and ideas.
Yeah, like, are you adding value to my life? And if you're making me laugh, you're adding a hell of a lot of value.
Yes.
So thank you both.
Yeah, and getting to know, I feel like I've gotten to know Mel more by following you because we knew Andrea and she's so funny. Just some of these reels had us cracking up. So thank you for creating a space for people to, one, get inspired to chase their dreams, but also have fun. And let's talk about why you two decided, one, to work together, which I know you have, but this is a new way. Tell us about kind of this professional journey, how you two are working together and what your business is.
Okay. So this is actually, it's awesome that I get to share this because I was on for a whole, I don't want to say different business, but it really was a whole different business before. And I think for Mel and I, like, we've always had a dream, a desire to have something that we co-create together. Like, that was the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Always had that vision. And we always had the vision of living on the lake. So I don't even remember if we were on the lake when we recorded that episode, but we had moved here and I had my traditional coaching business. So I had left policing. I went into like conscious leadership coaching. I trained and studied mostly in subconscious mind, performance-based coaching, a lot of different backgrounds with that. But what we found is, like, Mel had her successful painting business, and we're like, now's the time to kind of come in to create something of our own. And
it was when we moved to the lake, I decided, okay, now's my opportunity. Closed down my painting business and jumped into the coaching business. But Andy was already kind of established. So it was like really like more her business. And I was like in the background. And then we were like, what was it?
I think what it came down to is, and Mel had always trained and studied in similar things as me. Like, we did a lot of like almost like simultaneous work together and on ourselves. And then what we found is that a lot of the old traditional ways of coaching didn't resonate anymore. It's like, although we were living like the coaching dream, it wasn't our dream. It's like, that's not fun. I want to have more fun. And that was kind of what was, it was almost like this underlying, something was missing. Like, we desired more fun, more joy, more impact. And really what it was is we wanted more co-creation. So we went to Italy,
obviously,
naturally. And
what do you do?
Let's just take a break from what it is we're doing and slow down and connect back with what's important to us. Why did we get into this in the first place?
It was funny. We had to actually take ourselves through the process that we would take the one-on-one clients through. Mm-hmm. And we were like, oh, so this is what it's like to be a client. And so we slowed right down and stopped, like, basically everything, came back from Italy and kind of just started our new journey of what it was that we wanted to bring in.
Can we pause there? I think a lot of people listening can relate to that, of like, it would be really helpful if I realigned on some things. So What was that process like for you, other than going to Italy and having this whole magical experience, I'm sure? Like, kind of walk through the process you would take your clients and what you mimicked from that.
Yeah, and it's very simple, but it's like
It's not easy.
it is not. This is like mastery level. And we've done it a number of different times, but this time I think it was just next level in the business. And the process is really it's step one is slowing down, like actually slowing down.
Yeah.
Allowing yourself to go more slow than you're comfortable going. Like for us, going fast is in our comfort zone.
Yeah.
We can do a lot, we can launch, we can do all these things. It's like actually
Taking a step back.
And we took a step back from a lot of the projects. We had a couple partnerships that we were part of.
We dissolved them.
We let those go. We actually had a workshop that was very successful that we hosted for almost 7 years. And we always got great transformations on it. We're like, you know what? This is going to be the last time we do this. Like we really allowed ourselves to ask questions. We slowed down, but then we asked questions. And the questions were like, what feels aligned? Does this still feel aligned? Is this bringing us joy?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this? Like, what's the intention behind what it is that we're creating? And I think that the most challenging part is sometimes there's this transition period where you actually don't know what that next thing is yet. And we didn't know for a couple of months. Like we had I don't want to say we had no clue, but we pretty much almost had no clue.
Yeah.
Like we had a feeling that we knew we wanted to help people through groups, through experiences. But we're like, I don't really know what that means. I don't really know what people want. We had a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So what we did is we ended up finding a mentor who it just felt aligned. Like it was an inspired way to help us to help bring out that piece. But it was kind of in a roundabout way. Like I wanted to expand my speaking. I was speaking at the time. This side note is actually what led to us realigning our whole business. Is I had been asked to speak on a couple different stages that my clients had created. So I had primarily a one-on-one coaching business, and they would host these really great events. And they're like, do you want to come and speak? And I was like, okay. So I would speak on the same things that I would teach my clients. And then I realized this isn't as much fun as I thought it would be for me. I'm getting them an experience, but it wasn't as fun for me. So I'm like, if I'm having more fun, they're going to have more fun and they're going to get more out of it. So I spent 6 months creating and crafting a talk that would be joyful and fun for me and so simple, like Mel Robbins' 5-second rule simple. Like it was that simple. And it was all around fun. And this launched the first time I did it. It was September. It was September last year, like around this time.
Yeah.
And I got to speak on a cool stage with like Danielle Laporte, Mark Grove, some really awesome speakers. And I got really great feedback. And I'm like, this is fun. Like I felt so lit up.
Yeah.
And then we realized that our business model did not match the energy and the vibration and the essence of this talk. And that was kind of, and then we already had our Italy trip booked. So then we went to Italy and we're like, okay, there's a disconnect between our business and this new thing that's coming through us. So we kind of knew the essence of this new paradigm. It was a whole new paradigm for how we were going to show up in business. And step one, slow down. Step two is admitting what we wanted. And that's what that mentor helped us to figure out is we wanted to do it through more speaking. But in doing that, we're like, actually, we want to also have an offer that we could help people through groups.
Did you two agree? Like, were you pretty matched on what you both wanted, or did you have different things that you were wanting?
No, well, that was part of it. I think a lot of people throw spaghetti at the wall being like, oh, this is what they want. And this was actually probably the first time we were very aware, being like, that doesn't really work to get you the results that we want in business. And so we did market research with 60 established business owners, which took probably a month and a half to do in itself, just aligning schedules and getting, but then we were like, we're just open books and we're going to watch the data. And we just observed. And it was like this, it was really fascinating. On paper, they're all successful. They're all like pretty much the same. But then when we got into the questions, it was like a distinct group formed where our values matched their values, where our goals matched their goals. Like there was a lot of things that we were following. And then we just crafted what now is the fun experience for them. And ever since then, it's kind of been amazing.
Yeah. That's kind of how we came up with it. So we were clear and we're on the same page that we didn't have enough information around what it was, and that we did not want to do a business just to do a business. We had no interest in that. And we wanted to create something deeply meaningful for us that lit us up, that was sustainable, but also that people genuinely wanted and was impactful for them.
Love that.
Wow.
And I think too, people are listening that aren't business owners. And I think, we all support businesses. So it's important to know like, what's the foundation of your business? But also some people really struggle with fun. Whether you're like a mother and you're just like in the trenches of not taking care of yourself or even knowing what you like, or you're evolving, like we're always changing and new things are fun. And so for people that really struggle with fun, whether it's in business, because we know a lot of entrepreneurs, they're like, I'm so good, I'm so type A, I get things done, but there's no fun. Or if you're not a business owner and you really struggle with that, how do you help people figure out what is fun for them? What lights them up? Like, do you have any kind of tangible tips just getting started, getting some more fun into your routine?
Yeah. I'm laughing. Are you laughing at the same thing? Okay. So it was around the same talk that I gave. I gave this talk back in January, and a woman came up to me afterwards, and the talk is all about fun. It's called The F Word, How to Have Fun in Your Life and Business. And she came up afterwards and she's like, I have no idea how to have fun. I am like void of fun. No fun is happening. And I'm like, okay. But I could also feel that she was a genuinely fun human.
Yeah.
She was judging herself that she wasn't fun. And if we were, and I'll share the tangibles, but if we were to fast forward, she actually just joined this round of our FunXperience mastermind that kicked off like 2 weeks ago. And in the mastermind, I could see her mentoring another entrepreneur. And she's like, you just got to embody the fun. And it was like, you are now the poster person for fun. Because what I think happens for a lot of us is we're intellectualizing fun.
Yeah.
Well, if we're intellectualizing fun, then we're shooting all over the place about what fun should be. Well, I'm not having fun compared to this person or that person or this or that. And it's like, that's not fun. That's just intellectualizing. That's just literally getting stuck in your head. So fun is actually an embodiment. It's a way of being. It's actually our natural state. It's like you're either in fear or you're in fun. So the most simplest thing that we recommend people start with, and we still do this. We did this yesterday. So we were outside and we wanted to do some fall cleanup. You might have seen this on our Instagram. And we're like, what would make this more fun? So this is the simple question you can ask yourself. You can ask yourself in the morning when you wake up or when you're going to do something. It's like, what would make this more fun? And then listen, like what actually would make this more fun? And for us, what we wanted to do is we wanted to do some fall cleanup, and we're like, what would make this more fun? So we're like, okay, let's do it when it's warm out, and then we'll be warm, and then we can actually go in the lake and go for a swim. So we did that. And instead of pushing, which we usually do, which is push, let's just get all of this done in one shot so that we absolutely hate our life. It's like, instead of doing that, we gave ourselves permission to like, let's have fun. Let's do a little bit. Let's go swimming. Yeah. And then we got our water mat because we had to bring that in. So we're like, well, what would make that fun? And we lined it up. It's massive. So we lined it up from our dock. And then I don't know if you ever did this when you were a kid and you'd like run along the mat to see how far you could go. So then we did that, and we like had these like Olympics of seeing how far we could run on this mat. We're like 2 40-year-old women by ourselves playing, but it was like, this is fun. And our whole energy changed opposed to, I have to do fall cleanup. I have to do all these chores. It's not fun. but it's just inviting yourself to ask the question, like, what would make your life, your business, your family experience even more fun?
And I think like too, it's like based on what season of life you're in, like you were saying, like you could be a mother of 2 young kids, like you're in the trenches at that point. And it could be like, what's fun for you in that season? As opposed to like us who have no kids and we're in our 40s. What's fun for us is so different. And to not judge each other or judge yourself based on the season you're in. And also, what are your values? Mm-hmm. So what I consider fun sometimes is not what Andy considers fun. And I think that's where we get stuck, is we're judging ourselves based on other people's values.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm thinking right now, an example for my family is like a lot of parents really, they get stressed out for family pictures. And so, and I have great family pictures and my kids legit are having fun in them because we've thought, what would make this more fun? Like we're up in these mountains. It's freezing at sunrise in Wyoming, but we brought a speaker out there and Trolls 2 was just out and they loved the soundtrack. So you can't tell in the picture, but that music is playing and they're like dancing and they're so excited. And one of our values is like we dance and music's such a huge part. Like we always have music on. And so it's like these little things, just like you said it, you don't have to overthink it, but what could make this a little more fun? And it can drastically change the energy of a stressful situation, or, you know, it doesn't have to be motherhood. It could be while you're at work, listening to a podcast that brings you joy, or on a lunch break, getting out in the sun if that brings you joy or, you know, makes things fun. So I think it's like you said, it's any season, wherever you are.
Yeah. And subjective, to your point. Like, as 40-year-old woman, it's going to be different than me in my 20s or someone listening that is having little kids. So not comparing. Or if you do notice someone's doing something and you do compare, why are you comparing? Is there a little bit of what they're doing that you want a little piece of that? You know, and how can you work towards having more of that?
I keep thinking too, like if we were their neighbors and we're watching these 40-year-old chicks.
I would run my ass down there.
It'd be so fun. I'm like, that is so great to like, any season you can always have fun. And something that you said, Andrea, and I think, and I saw this on one of your reels, and I think it's really important to bring up, especially for people that are single or in business, is when you're having more fun, you're more magnetic. Like people are drawn to that energy because it is a higher vibration. And so I would love for you to speak about how that's brought you in more business, or how in general, someone having more fun makes them more of a magnetic person.
Yes. Okay. So this is speaking my language. So even when I had, and I think this is why I love the FunXperience, because it like all of the wisdom from our coaching business, all of the training and studying in like the deep spiritual subconscious, all of that, what the FunXperience actually allows us to do, or fun in general, is the embodiment of that. So fun is it's almost like the catalyst to shift into that next level of leadership or manifesting, or all of those things. And why and how that works is, and it could go deep into quantum physics and all that stuff, but really what it is it's your vibration. It's the energy in which you're now focused on. It's an energy of possibilities. It's like you could be in fear, which fear is typically more linked to the head, which is a way to control us, which the shoulds, the obligations, the things we have to do, which is often that pushing, the forcing. And then play or fun, that's connected to the heart. And that's where it's expansive, where you're open to possibilities, where people can feel your energy. And Mel and I, and this is often where I see this when we were working with one-on-one clients. This is where it's almost like becomes crazy backwards land, where the things that we used to do no longer work or no longer resonate with us, because often the driver behind it was from conditioning, the people pleasing, the fear, the pushing, the overachieving. And if you truly want to have an amazing impact and want to become magnetic, that comes from the heart, which means you need to let go of those outdated ways of achieving into a new way of being. So how can you do that? And this is one of our favorite things. And we do this always when we travel, but you can do this in any area of your life. It's playing in this energy of like, let's see how fun it can get. And we do this all the time. We're like, I share this often, but like this one time we were going to the Caribbean and we're already playing this energy. But like our trip keeps getting better and better. Let's see how fun it can get. And we're feeling into it. And this is where it becomes that manifestation, because now you're starting to embody it, like being totally open. Oh, our trip keeps getting better and better. Nothing has happened, but we're already playing in this energy. We're on the plane, we're feeling into it. And then we arrive and we're in the airport and there's like massive long lineup. And the guy next to us, he's there on business. And he looks at us and he says, I paid to bypass the line. Do you want to come with us? We're like, absolutely. So now we get to bypass the line. We go with him. We say thank you. We go our way. And Mel and I are like, our trip keeps getting better and better. And then we pick up our bags. We arrive at the desk for a shuttle. And the lady's like, I've upgraded you two to a private luxury car. Just the two of you. We're like, okay. Great. So we're like, our trip keeps getting better and better. And then we arrive at the desk at the resort. Now we're super early because we just bypassed all of that. And the lady's like, your room's not ready yet, but why don't you go to the spa on us? And we're like, stop. Okay. So
can we travel with you guys?
We're doing this. And like the whole trip's like that. To like the last day where we found this fascinating man. He was there on business. He was creating this luxury resort, but it was like sustainable through the community. It was this really cool project. And he's like, do you want to come for a private tour with me? We're like, okay. And now we're on this mountain and it's 360-degree views. There's like whales with their babies. There's sea turtles, the most beautiful sunset. And we're like, I don't know how it gets better than this. But it's because we were playing in this energy of let's see how fun it can get. And when you do that, things will happen for you that otherwise wouldn't happen. And it's because you're raising your vibration. It's because you are now an energetic match for what it is that you want, like new opportunities. And and this to really hit the point of how you become magnetic, it's people feel that. It's like people want to be part of what you're doing. This is where you actually become a leader. This is where you become a beacon of possibilities. And you become almost like contagious in the best way, where it's like, I want to be part of what they're doing. It's like, I want to join in on that.
I also think it's where you have the potential to have like the biggest impact in the world.
I do think there's a line though, because like fun could be, in some people's mind, fun is like lots of drinks and partying and whatever, or like fun could be really childish and like innocent. I feel like there's a spectrum of it. But something I'm thinking of, like with my spouse, for example, like this could just apply in a relationship. When my husband is like goofy and childlike and having fun with our kids, like we went to this orchard and there's like this cow ride where like two kids can sit in each of these things. And there was room by my son. And my husband hops the fence, jumps into this cow ride, which I don't even know if there was a weight limit. Just like him being so goofy and childlike and having fun. I was so drawn to him and I felt like more connected to him and more like he's getting the most out of life. He's not taking himself too seriously. Like he was totally a magnet. The second he got off that freaking cow ride, I wanted to give him a kiss, It's like you're so drawn to that energy of like, life's too short. If we're not having fun, like what are we doing? But it's tricky, like that balance of taking life seriously enough to have like a
job,
a thriving business. And so how do you toe that line of, okay, we need to make money and be able to buy this Caribbean trip. And we're also going to like take some things seriously, but also let's have fun. How do you balance that?
What's a dance?
It is a dance. And we were actually talking about this earlier because there's an energy behind the fun. There's an intention behind it. It's a heart-centered fun. So is for us anyways, like partying and drinking to the point where you're disconnected from your heart and your joy. Like that is not fun for us. Not having abundance, not fun for us. So it's like fun is actually, it's very simple, but it is probably one of the most profound things to master because it requires you to be true to yourself. It requires you to actually do things that are outside of your comfort zone. Like most people don't actually feel like it's safe for them to be having fun.
Yeah.
True fun. Like a lady said to me the other day after my talk, she's like, I don't know if I'm faking fun.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm having fun, but am I faking it? So it's not a head fun or I'm just going to go have a rave fun. It's an embodied, this feels good for the path that I'm on, fulfillment and my joy. And part of that is doing things that are good for your heart, doing things that are good for you. So that actually requires some discipline. It requires you to get uncomfortable. It requires you to actually face things that most people won't have the courage to face, because with fun, you still also have to become aware, like, what are the blocks?
Yeah.
What are the limiting beliefs? What are the old ways of being that you have to let go of in order to embody this new way? So I think for us, what has been most helpful in us figuring out what is fun for us is we're also equally willing to do the uncomfortable things that most people also aren't willing to do.
Yeah.
Like being true to ourselves, releasing our blocks, all the stuff that has been really helpful in our past, but also choosing a new way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like, the tangible tips are so great for the questions you can ask yourself. What are some of those, when you say releasing those blocks, what does that look like? Can you speak a little more on that?
So now this is something, so the first one is you want to admit, like, what is it that would make this more fun? Like, what would be fun for me? And then you have to actually allow yourself to have fun. And the key here, and this is what I've learned, and this is, if you go back to episode 125, I've probably used this quote, is that it's from one of my mentors, Dr. Lee Janelle, is that you won't create what you want, you create what you believe. So you won't create what you want, you create what you believe. So if you have a subconscious belief that it's not safe for you to be having fun, to enjoy, you're not going to allow yourself to do it. So part of that is having awareness.
Yeah.
So the first one is admitting what would make this more fun. And then the second one is awareness. Where are you having some resistance to maybe allowing things to actually be fun? Like truly, where are you maybe pushing or forcing things or overthinking things or just doing things in a way that no longer serve where you want to go?
I'm thinking of someone trying to do something fun because everybody else is doing it, but it's not actually fun for them. You know, like I have a friend, Sarah, shout out Sarah. It's fun for her to go to bed at 8. And she has no problem saying, this isn't fun for me anymore. After 8, I'm anxious. I'm thinking about how I'm not going to get enough sleep here. I want to get home and get into my routine. And she has no problem admitting that. But I feel like a lot of people probably stay up later than they actually want to, not actually having fun because it looks like everybody else thinks this is fun. And so like the admitting and like being able to say and feel like, what's true to me? I'm going to say it, even if it's like uncool.
Well, like it takes courage, right? To then live out your truth when it maybe isn't the norm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it can be scary because it's like, will I lose friends? Will people judge me? Like it can be scary but you got to be true to yourself. Like you were saying, life is short.
Yeah.
And I think you should have as much fun as you can in your values and screw everyone else and their judgments. If you're having fun, you become magnetic.
Yeah.
So then you attract the friends that you truly want who maybe have the same values. And you'll feel like people see you more too.
I think what's tricky too, you said like you could lose friends, is as we evolve and change, what used to be fun might not be fun anymore. And then, so it's even the same person expressing like, that's not fun for me anymore, changes who they were friends with. And so you can lose friends, or it can look different, or there can be a little like tough communication in there. And I think that's tricky. If you have a friend for a long time, like that doesn't resonate with me anymore, even though that's something we used to do together and we loved it and it was fun. Like,
yeah. Giving yourself permission to be okay with that. How do you guys recommend that shift?
I think for Mel, Mel is a master connector, community builder. I actually think you're better at this than I am.
Yeah, 100%.
I think you grew up, her family is very like blunt to the point. This is what I want.
Very European.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think you're actually very good. So how do you give yourself permission?
I don't know. I'm a Leo too. That
I don't
probably
even
is
think
in the
you,
mix.
I don't even think you give yourself permission. I think you just authentically live that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
For me, it was a way more of a growth opportunity.
I've never been a people pleaser, and you were a people
For
pleaser.
sure. So for me, it was actually, and I've gone through this in many different, like we evolve, we realign, we go through this. And I think for me, the permission was the more I connect to myself and my truth of like where I'm at right now, I realized that it's almost like it's like the energy we match vibrationally. So sometimes we meet people, we're meant to learn things, and sometimes it no longer becomes a match. And if we try to force it, and let's say we keep that relationship that wasn't actually a match, one, it's not loving for us, but it's also not loving for that person, because then we're just resenting them and we're not truly wanting the best for them. So for me, the permission has been the more I like lean into what's good for me, that's actually good for everybody.
Yeah.
So that has kind of been the permission that's helped me to have the courage to take some baby steps to like for that. But I think another tangible, almost question that we ask each other is, what's the energy behind what we're doing? Is it from inspiration, or is it from desperation? Or is it like another way to say it in Catherine, one of our members from our FunXperience, she just shared this in a masterclass, and it was like almost like towards energy. Am I going towards what I want, or is it away from? I'm running away from not what I want. And if it's that running away from desperate energy, it always leads to more shit shows.
Yeah.
It never ends with a fulfilling, sustainable, awesome result. Whereas going towards what you want from inspiration, that has always been the most fulfilling, like joyful, like truly rewarding experiences for us. And we've just done it enough where we have the proof. So sometimes you have to start with little things. Like, am I hanging out with this person from desperation? I don't want them to be mad at me. Or am I hanging out with them because they genuinely make me feel good? They bring me joy. I bring the best out of myself.
That's such a great question to ask yourself.
Yeah.
Because your circle can change, and it probably should as you change. Not that you have to like ditch people, but like just spend less time with someone that's not matching you. And I think that's such a great way to think about it. Like, when I'm with this person, does it bring me down? Does it lift me up? Is it neutral? And not judging any of that, just like checking in, intentionally hanging out with people who you're spending your precious time with.
I also think like protecting your energy. This is what this makes me think of, because if you're giving your energy to people who are just draining you, or activities that are draining you, there isn't energy for fun, right? Like, you're depleted. So how do you both protect your energy when you're thinking of it in terms like that?
I know for me, one of the things that's always stuck with me from one of our mentors, Lee's, was like love, like even friendship, love. It's like love is wanting the best for someone else while respecting your own needs. And that stuck with me, and that helped me through so many situations. Even like, I'm a twin. Me and my twin sister are very connected, and she's got babies now, and she always wanted me to watch the babies. Well, I didn't want to watch the fucking babies. And I want the best for her, but I need to respect my own needs. So I had to build the muscle of being able to say no. And like what you said, like, is she going to be mad at me? Sort of thing. So I just had to learn some sort of language to communicate to her that I love you and the kids, but I don't always want to watch the babies because I don't like changing the diapers. You know what I mean? Like, but
Yeah. And kind of the same. Like, we really, this has been a practice for us. And this has been like at least probably I would say over a decade. Of strengthening the muscle. And I think the protecting the energy part for me, where I'm going with it anyways, it for this next, I think, level of leadership is, it's almost like because me, it was, my journey was, I was that happy kid. I was playful. And what I learned is to dim my joy to fit in. So that has been one of my biggest things. Like I would focus more on making other people proud, doing what they wanted me to do, society, parents, school, all those things. But what I've been really focusing on recently is like, how can I make my 5-year-old self proud? How can I like truly connect with myself and be there for me, be that person for me that I wish that I had when I was young, to be like, okay, I want to play with them, or like, I want to bring out my joy. And why that's important is because the more, like, let's say I say yes to something that's really a no, I'm just saying no to myself. So just switching it to how can I say yes more to me?
Yeah.
From inspiration and from love. And the more we do that, I think people short term might not understand, but if you do it from your heart, and this is something we learned from Lee's as well. If you do something from your heart, like truly do it from your heart, people get it.
Yeah.
They might not get it at first, but it will sink into their heart and eventually they'll be like, I get it. But if you do it from your head, or if you do it from resentment, or if you do it from your
Ego.
you do it from your ego or fear, it's like usually there, or judgment, any of those things, usually that leads to some conflict. But if you can do the work to figure out what it is that you're doing from your heart, and like that could be as simple as like, I'm doing this because it's good for me.
Yeah.
And then you're having the courage to be like, well, this is scary, but I'm going to do it anyways. That's the energy that over time we have seen has not only increased our self-worth and our confidence in this, but other people have actually come along this journey with us that we never would have expected.
One of the tangible things is too, is like, I've really been mindful of like who I follow on socials.
Yeah.
And the energy, like what you were saying, if somebody's giving me value and fun, I'm all in for their socials. And that's one of the things I think I am trying to get across in my socials is like valuable tips that can help you, but also let's have some fun. And there's so much in the world right now. And like, if I can make someone smile on the other end, that's the goal for me. So.
And you totally are. And I'm just so grateful that you've decided to do this the way that you're doing it, because you are working hard and you are creating a business, but to watch what you're doing and then be able to laugh with it, it's so valuable. It's so needed. And it's, especially if you're an entrepreneur, it's really nice to like watch, like, this is possible. It is possible. And so I know we kind of touched on it earlier, but where can people, well, one, we have to talk about what you have coming up in November as well, but where can people find you if they want to follow you, kind of see what you're up to and get some laughs and value? Where can they find you?
I think for us, the FunXperience Instagram page is probably the top one.
Yeah.
And it's true. Mel masterfully, I think, threads that line very well. So that is one. And then if you follow the FunXperience, it has both of our handles in there as well. So we do share some different kind of lens from mine, which is Andrea Parker Speaks, and then yours is
I am Mel
Mills. That is probably where you'll get a good essence of what it is we're creating. But to be honest, we've also been enjoying LinkedIn, which I never would have thought I would have said. But it's actually starting to be fun. Yeah. So we're also on LinkedIn, just I believe under our names. So there's some good places to start.
Yeah. I love it. And November, what's so special about November? Tell us more.
Yes.
November's going to be a fun month.
So and this is something that has been on our heart for, I would say, yes, a very long time. So we're launching our podcast.
Woo-hoo!
And I chatted it with Andrea, I think it was a couple of months ago, about how to really create an amazing experience. So as a guest who's been on many podcasts, I would say and I know I shared this with you, Andrea, but hands down, you have done the best job.
She raved.
I do. I talk about it all the time about the experience of being part of the podcast and the process that you bring people through, because it's an experience and you make it enjoyable and you truly do make it fun to be part of. Yeah. So very inspiring. But yeah, that's something that we're coming up with. We haven't officially picked a date, but I'm going to throw out, it'll be around the November 19th range. And again, it's all about bringing fun in your life and your business. It's about reigniting that spark, that excitement in all that you do, making bold moves and leading from a whole new energy.
I love it too. It's such an inside look, you know, and Brooke and I have found it so valuable to talk through as we're building a business and things are evolving, what we're focusing on, the growth that we're feeling, the struggles, the strengths, like all of that. And it's fun to listen back. So I'm really excited for you. And when you do launch it, let us know so we can help promote it so everybody can find it. And do you have a name of what it's going to be called? Well, that's fun. It's like a cliffhanger. They'll have to keep watching to see what you're going to name it.
Yeah. Fun for sure is going to be in it. We have to, it's between two. So yeah.
I like the one you told me before. So I'm curious to hear what this other one is.
I know we're leaning towards that one because that one is fun. Probably our favorite.
So stay tuned. Follow the FunXperience to learn what it's going to be and then to hear about the podcast. And whether you are business owner, mom, just a gal trying to get your life together and enjoy your life, such a good follow, such a good listen. So thank you both for the work that you're doing. I'm excited to see where it takes you.
Yes, thank you.
And as you know, we have more that we need from you because we can't let you go yet. 3 gold stars. We would love for you to share your 3 top takeaways for anybody that's tuning in.
Okay, so our top 3, and this is going to be a summary for some of the things that we talked about even on this podcast, but it really comes down to that it gets to be fun. So your life and your business get to be fun. And how do you do that? It's just as simple as asking yourself, what would make this more fun?
Yeah.
When you wake up, what would make this more fun? The second one, do you want to do the second one?
I'm allowing it to be fun. So you have to have the awareness and you have to allow it. And that's where Andy was talking about if there's resistance, asking yourself, like, why am I resisting this? So allowing it to be fun.
And that one's important because you can't bypass it because you won't create what you want. You create what you believe. So making sure that you're actually aware of what it is you believe around it. And the third one, which is obviously our favorite, is let's see how fun it can get. And that's the one where you play in the energy of like, let's see how fun this can get. And what we invite you to do, so we bring this into traveling. You can bring it into every area. But like, imagine you actually treated your life, your business, your relationships like this epic trip here on earth that just keeps getting better and better to the point where you're like, I didn't even know it could be this fun. And then sharing it with other people in your life.
Beautiful.
I love that. And that is my new affirmation every day, every single day. So I'm going to report back to you, ladies. See how good it can get. How much fun can I have? Make it a little challenge, make it a game.
I like that. It's a fun game. All right, next is Unleashing Ivy. So these are just things we're curious about. I am curious about your partnership. Being married to someone when they're off and they got bad energy and you're just trying to have fun and they're ruining your fun and they're just not in a good headspace. I'm curious how you help pull each other out of that to kind of elevate, raise the vibe when the other one is just not having it.
I think it's situational, and it can be like just a matter of just asking each other questions. Like, do you just need space? Like, do you just need to go for a walk by yourself? Or it can be even, how can I support you right now? Like, we actually do ask each other that. Like, what do you need from me in order to help you right now? And sometimes it's a matter of me just being like, your shit is not going to bring me down today. I'm still going to have fun.
I love it.
That's for me anyways.
But that's a good boundary of like, okay, I'm in a good spot. They're not. And I'm not trying to fix their thing. They'll figure it out. I'm going to stay in this fun lane because it's fun over here.
Yep. Eventually they'll come back over into my lane.
Exactly. And honestly, as I think partners, but also partners who do business together, that is the most challenging. And I think the coolest thing, if you can do that well, is navigating that. But that's basically been my process too. I think I'm getting better at not jumping in that same ship as you, because then that's not solving.
Don't jump in the deep end with me. We'll both drown.
It's like you need to learn how to swim sometimes. And it's like So I think having the awareness, okay, what's my growth opportunity? She's going through shit. What can I do to take responsibility for myself? Because we often get triggered. So it's like, what am I getting triggered with? And I think it is just allowing the other person, supporting them, like truly supporting if you can. But at a certain point, you got to figure it out on your own.
I love you, but we need you to get your shit together. Come on. Okay, my question is around just like day to day, the mindset work you both do. As coaches, it is entrepreneurship. It is such a mindset game. And even if you're not an entrepreneur listening, the life game, what are some of those practices that you both do to keep that abundance energy going?
For me, I love a slow morning. So for me, and I've been doing this since August. I should have done this a long time ago, but we're just lucky enough to live on a lake and going in the water. So for me, doing something really difficult in the morning seems to make my day a lot easier and better. So I do that and a slow morning. Like I savor my coffee. I'll read a bit of my book.
You've been you've been submerging in the water too, right?
How cold is this water?
It's cold. It's like maybe 50. No, it's maybe 60 right now.
But it's cold. It's not warm.
What helps you get in there?
I know that my day and me as a person will be better. I'll be a better partner. I'll be a better business owner. Just in general, my day will usually go better. And I have done it. I haven't missed a day yet, but I've done it where I've gone in later in the day and I've noticed how quickly my mood has changed. And so if I can just do that in the morning more often, then I set up my day better for myself.
That's cool. You've picked something that's physical that positively affects your mental health. I think sometimes it's like mindset work. It's like everybody pictures you journaling in a quiet room or meditating with your eyes closed. And like some people are more physical and you can get those mental health benefits from doing like going for a walk, going for a run, submerging in water, those types of things. And it is
like my form of almost meditation for myself. I know some people like do meditative runs or they'll sit and meditate. I can't sit and meditate, but when I'm in the water, I have to be so present with my breath and myself. And it's also my time to like pray almost. So that's what I use it for.
Cool. I love that. Andrea, what about for you?
I think my biggest, and I say lucky, but we put a lot of energy into training. Like we truly have done a lot of work learning from the best in their fields and like human behavior, spiritual science, the subconscious mind, vibrational energetic science, like heart-centered living. Like I could go on. But it's because I'm a researcher. Like I love to get to the root of something. And really for me, if I were to take all of those principles, practices, I think one of the most important things that I do each day is my intention each morning. And it's more of an energetic intention of how I want to feel. And then letting the day kind of intentionally be guided from that. So for example, this morning I did something a little bit different. Usually I wake up and I'm in the season where I've done so much slow morning. I have no interest in a slow morning right now. I'm like, I am inspired to try different things and create different things. So I went to the gym this morning and I haven't done that for ever. Like we have a gym at home, but I'm like, I'm going to go out. But my intention was like, even before I leave the house, I get out, I actually have a couple energetic principles that I use. Sidebar, Vesica Institute is really good for how you can, if you really want to go deep down, like the energetics and like the real deal of how you can do some like energetics work. They have a series on Gaia. I think it's called Sacred Geometry. There's a couple principles that I do there that actually protect my energy field, that help me center in grounding principles. I do that every morning and I set an intention every morning. And the intention is very simple about connecting with like, what's the energy I want to feel? Yesterday, my intention was at the end of the day, I'm going to be like, that was even more fun than I thought it would be. Like, I can't believe our day was that fun. Like, it could be that simple. And then getting clear on what are the things that are most important to me that day and making those my priority.
Love it. I hear a lot of clarity, a lot of intentionality, consistency for you, Mel, doing that, knowing this is going to be good for me. I love that. All right. Our last question, there's 2 of you, and I just have an idea to split this up and ask you both. So, Mel, this is your question. I'll tell you both your questions, and then you can figure out who goes first. Mel, if you could go back and tell your younger self something, what age would you be and what would you tell her? And Andrea, if you could go in the future, yes, and you think back to what you were most proud of, what do you want to look back and say you did, felt, experienced, created? Whoever wants to go first.
Good questions. Thanks.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay. I think I would go back to my younger self. Probably, I'm going to say like age 5 or 6. And I would probably say you're smarter than you think. Like school put you in a box and you don't deserve to be in a box sort of thing. I think I would say like, I always grew up feeling like I wasn't smart. So I went into sports and I had like sports smart. And then I became an entrepreneur, and I wasn't going to be an entrepreneur because I didn't think I was smart enough to run a business. My first year, I did over 6 figures. It's like, yeah. And I think I would say you are so fucking smarter than you think you are. But I also done so much work. I know growing up feeling like I wasn't smart, developed other skills that otherwise I wouldn't have. So there's those, but I think I would say you're actually a fucking genius.
That's amazing.
I love that.
That's so great.
And me? Okay, so what would my future self say to my current self? Is that what it is?
What do you want to thank yourself for when you're older? Let's say you're 75 and you're sitting on your lake and you're looking at the water with your coffee and you're like, I am so glad I did this in my life. What do you want to say to yourself?
Ooh.
This is good. I think really what I want to be able to say, and this is kind of what's been driving us for many years now, but really to that next level is to know that I went all in with my whole heart. And I think being all in with your head is different than being all in with your heart. So I want to know that I truly like laid it all on the line. Like I went for it. Like I went for that life that I am like not only deeply proud of, but sitting there being like, holy shit, that turned out even better than I could have possibly imagined. And that it actually got to be fun for me. So that is what I want to know, that not only is it possible, but also by doing that, it inspired so many people to have the courage to start thinking and doing the same.
What a powerhouse couple you two are. I mean, you complement each other so well, and so like every answer to every question, and just, you are such a unique blend that works so well. And like thinking of that in your life, of giving yourself more credit, like you are smarter and it might look different than they make it look in school, but having that confidence and then embodying it and then knowing like, you've got this one shot, let's go full in. What is my heart saying? And let's do it. Like, you're such a gift together. Like, it's so exciting that we get to follow your journey. And then you're going to have a podcast? Oh my gosh, it's going to be so fun to tune in because it's inspiring and it's like at a human level too. Like, you make it feel like graspable. Anybody on any stage of their life should listen to their heart and go all in and believe in themselves and know this can be fun if I'm raking the frickin' leaves. Let's,
Well, and that's your definition of fun, right? I love that you're bringing in self-worth and self-confidence and heart-centered and what feels aligned. Like, it's not surface level fun. It's deep life cost fulfilling fun. And that's I think what sets you both apart and why you have been so successful and will only continue to be more successful, because you can tell your hearts are in it and you're speaking from your truth and helping other people on that path. So I'm just so grateful that this is your approach to fun.
Saying that.
Yes.
So grateful for both of you. And honestly, I'm really grateful that we do get to do this together.
Yeah.
And it has been a journey, but it's also like, I think that's the point. Like, it gets to be fun.
Yeah. Life and business get to be fun.
Well, like you said
Gets
too, it's
to
a
be
dance.
fun.
Entrepreneurship's a dance. Like Brooke and I are in the dance, and it's always like you've got to communicate and figure out what you want, and that can change. And it's going to be so fun to watch this. So we're so grateful for your time. We can't wait to see what you come up with in November. Let us know the name. We will promote as well.
Okay.
And we always end every episode with a piece of gold, a quote that speaks to you. If you want to do two, you want to do one, however you'd like to send us off.
One quote that I kind of live by, and it goes back to me doing the hard thing in the morning, is out of your comfort zone lies your destiny. And that is where the most fun is actually had. So that's something that's always in the back of my head when I don't want to do something. I'm like, fuck me. I got to go in the water.
Did you want to share one too, Andrea? Up to you.
Okay, I'm going to share our quote. So I think that one was from Dr. DeMartini.
I love
And
that.
This
So good.
one is actually ours, and it's that life and business get to be fun. Yeah.
This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold. Yay! That was such a good reminder. Thank you, ladies.
That was so fun.
That was fun.
I can't believe that was an hour.
No.
That flew by.
You
Time
guys
flies
do
when
really
you're
good
having
podcast.
fun.
Yeah.
I had to. Brooke's like, Jesus
I
Christ.
like your podcast. It just feels like just chilling on the couch or around.
That's what it feels like.
Or like around a bonfire.